My name is Annie Lee, and my call story is a little bit different than a lot of other people's because no one in my family had ever really been involved in music or in ministry for that matter at all. And so I kind of had to come upon it by myself. The first part of my story is that I went to a very small private Christian school for elementary and middle school, and I graduated with I think a class of 65. And in 7th grade, we were responsible for memorizing the Westminster Book of Catechisms, which is basically just like a list of questions and responses for us. And I'll always remember the first question was, what is man's primary purpose? And our response was, man's primary purpose is to glorify God and enjoy Him forever. And I didn't know, but that would end up having a huge impact on my life later. So I think the first major point on like the timeline of my call story happened the summer before my junior year of high school. At that point, I had not been involved in church at all, and my faith was really dwindling. And my mom just randomly decided that she wanted me to sign up for a youth conference. And uncharacteristically, I was really excited about it because I don't really like being in situations with people I don't know, but I decided to go, and it was the first time that I had ever seen students giving back to the church and leading worship and designing things and working on the tech side and really putting together this whole conference, and it really made me excited. So at the end of the conference, I had this really strange sense of urgency to get involved and to give back to the church in that way, even though I hadn't been involved in the church at all. I just knew that that was something I needed to be doing. So that same day, I contacted the leader in charge of the youth band, and I asked him if I could audition. And so then about a month later, I had been placed in the band, and I got my first experience leading worship, and it was on one of the youth Sundays at the church that held the conference, and it was like something I had never experienced before, and I was overwhelmed with like this joy that I knew could only be from the Lord, and I knew it was something I wanted to continue to pour myself into. And then God continued to confirm my calling for me, not only spiritually, but also musically. I was never really like the best singer in choir or anything. I just kind of was there, and I started actually getting opportunities that I never thought I would be able to get, and I picked up some instruments pretty easily, and I knew that maybe this was something God did have in store for me. And so by the end of junior year, beginning of senior year, it was time to actually start thinking about what I wanted to do with my life. And my mom always said she wanted me to be a teacher, and my dad wanted me to be a doctor, and so I had to go back and think what I'm good at and what I love doing. And then I went back and thought to that catechism from 7th grade, which was that man's primary purpose is to glorify God and enjoy Him forever. And I realized that I loved music and I was good at music, and my purpose was to glorify God, so it made sense that I would spend the rest of my life glorifying God through music. And so I found out that Samford had a music and worship degree, and I applied the same day. And since I've been at Samford, I've been able to learn a lot about all kinds of different types of worship, and it's really excited me to work with different churches and hopefully help them to see and appreciate the different kinds of worship and incorporate more diversity into worship services.